Jan, in just a second. Should this be the bedroom wallpaper, you think? Okay. Audrey, you give me Audrey. Sit. You sit. No, no, no. Sit. Good boy. You sit, sit, sit. Hey, dirty puppies. Who's ready for a puppy bath? Huh? Oh dear. Who's ready for a puppy bath? Ooh, look at that dirty water. Huh? Look at that dirty water. Who's ready to get out? out first.
What happened to these puppies?
Oh, they got a bath. They were all dirty, playing out in the muds. Come here.
Let's go, let's go.
Can you take her downstairs? No. Okay, all done. Thank you.